Hi everyone, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel Maths with Sonia Ratra. Today we have lecture 5 part 2 of trigonometry. So let's start the session without wasting any more time. The topic for the session is solving questions based on heights and distances. So here we have our first question. The upper part of a tree broken over by a wind makes an angle of 45 degree with the ground. So let's have the image of a tree. How does it look like when it is broken? So here we have the tree whose upper part is broken over by a wind and it makes an angle of 45 degree with the ground. So as you can see, we can create an imaginary right angle triangle over here because the ground will act like a horizontal line. The broken part will become the hypotenuse and the part which is still standing on the ground will be perpendicular. So let's create a right angle triangle. So here we have the right angle triangle. As you can see, the original length of the tree is taken as AB, and the part at the point at which it is broken, that point is D, and the part which is broken up is AD, and when it lands on the ground, when it touches the ground, the topmost part A, when it comes to the ground, it has become C. So CD is the broken part of the tree, which is actually AD. So AD and CD are equal. BD is the remaining part which is still standing on the ground, and BC is the line, you can say the horizontal line, which is showing the top of the tree and the root of the tree. Let's read further. The distance from the root to the point where the top of the tree touches the ground is 15 meter. Yes, we have taken BC as 15 meter. Now what they are asking, what was the height of the tree before it was broken? That means we have got our aim. We have to find the length of AB. So let's start with the solution. Let us take the actual height of the tree AB as h meter. So let's mark it in the figure. This is our height h meter. Then we are taking the broken part of the tree, which is AD, to be x meter. Let's mark it. This is x meter. And if I take right angle triangle BCD, which is right angled at B, we know that CD is equal to AD because AD is the broken part and this part falls down and becomes CD. So CD is equal to AD is equal to x meter. They both are equal. Let's mark them as equal. Next, in this right angle triangle, we know that AD is equal to CD. Both are equal to x. Next, we have BC as 15 meter and angle BCD, because they have told the broken part and the ground, they make an angle of 45 degree. It's given in the question. The upper part of a tree which is broken up makes an angle of 45 degree with the ground. So let's mark 45 degree. This is our 45 degree. So we have all the things that we need in a right angle triangle to start using that T ratio. Now you can see in the figure, I know BC is the base, and I know CD, which is hypotenuse. So which T ratio we will use? Yes, cos 45. Cos 45 is base upon hypotenuse. So we have written BC upon CD, and now we will substitute its value. Cos 45 is a standard angle. So we will substitute its known angle. We will not use trigonometrical tables. And BC is given as 15. CD is taken as x because CD is equal to AD and AD is x. Now from here we will work out the value of x as 15 root 2, and let's substitute the value of root 2 also, 1.414, and here we have the value of x as 21.21 meter. Now let's see the next part. Now X I am having with me, X is AD. Now I have to work for BD because BD plus AD will give me H. So let's take once again right angle triangle BCD. This time I will apply tan 45 because we are having with us base and perpendicular. Perpendicular is BD, that is unknown. So an unknown side with a known side and the angle. So tan 45 becomes equal to BD upon BC. This is perpendicular upon base. So when we substitute the values, tan 45 I know it is 1, BD unknown value, BC is known 15. So from here I get the value of BD as 15 meter. So finally I am having the value of H, which is BD plus X. Let's substitute the values. So H becomes 15 plus 21.21 because we have already worked out the value of X, and here we have the value of H as 36.21 meter. You can leave the answer as it is because in the question they have not asked you to give the answer correct to one decimal place or correct to nearest meter or correct to two significant figures, nothing. So this is our answer. The next question is, two vertical poles are on either side of a road. So just reading this we can draw these things. The first of all we will make a horizontal line which will act as a road, and let's make two vertical poles. These are two vertical poles, and you know the poles are always make an angle of 90 degree with the horizontal. So we have marked 90 degree. And now next part of the question is, a 30-meter long ladder is placed between the two poles. So they have not told you that it is lying exactly between midpoint, no. So it is lying somewhere between the roads. The two poles are is lying the ladder is lying between two poles. When the ladder rests against one pole, it makes an angle of 32 degree 24 minutes with the pole. So you have to reread this sentence because this angle is not formed with the horizontal line, with the road. They have said this angle, the ladder makes this angle with the pole. So let's place the angle, but before that let's give some name to these two sides, two poles. Let them be AB and CD. Now let us place the ladder. This is the ladder and its length is given as 30 meter. Now the angle 32 degree 24 minutes. This ladder is making with the pole. That means angle A will be 32 degree 24 minutes. Is it okay? Now the next angle, when it is turned, now the ladder is turned. Now this time it will rest against point C. Point C, over point C the ladder will rest, but this time it is making an angle of the same angle 32 degree 24 minutes, but this time with the road. So let's place the ladder. Ladder's length also we know. This time the ladder is making the same angle, but this time with the road. So see, where is the angle formed? The ladder and the road. The angle is formed over here. Let's give a name to it. Let this point be E. So now you can see we have two right angle triangles, and angle A is 32 degree 24 minutes, and angle E, CED or DEC is 32 degree 24 minutes. According to the language of the question given, we have framed the figure. This framing of figure is the most important part, because if you read the question but draw wrong figure, then all the knowledge that you are having regarding the trigonometry, heights and distances, use of trigonometrical tables, everything is zero. So now what is the question now? Calculate the width of the road. The complete width of the road between the two poles is BD, and BD is made up of BE and DE. Now I know my aim. From the first right angle triangle AEB, I have to work out BE, and from the second right angle triangle I have to work out the length DE, and these two lengths when added will give me the complete width of the road, which is BD. So let's start with the solution. The first thing we are doing is we are noting down our aim. Let the width of the road BD be equal to DE plus BE. Then the next thing, we will take one by one both the right triangles. So first of all we are taking right angle triangle AEB. And in this one side and one angle is known, we can make use of the T ratio. Now, if angle A is in discussion, its value is known, then AB is the base and BE is perpendicular and AE is hypotenuse. Of course, we have to make use of a T ratio in which hypotenuse should be there, and the value which I need BE. So I will use a T ratio in which perpendicular and hypotenuse is there, and that T ratio is sine. Sine theta is equal to perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So sine 32 degree 24 minutes is equal to BE upon AE. Now BE's value comes out to be AE into sine 32 degree 24 minutes. AE is known to me, that is 30 meter, and sine 32 degree 24 minutes we will find from the trigonometrical tables. So here I substitute the values. BE comes out to be 30 into 0.5358. From where we have got this value 0.5358? From the trigonometrical table from natural science. Okay. Now when I multiply, I get the value of BE as 16.074 meter. Okay, let us keep it as it is. Now we will switch over to the next right triangle, that is CDE. Now again BE is known to me because BE is the length of the ladder, and what I need to find is DE. So here DE is the base and CE is hypotenuse. So which T ratio? Yes, we will use cos theta, that is cos 32 degree 24 minutes, which is equal to base upon hypotenuse. So base is DE, hypotenuse is CE. We will find DE from here, CE cos 32 degree. After cross multiplying, we have got DE as CE cos 32 degree 24 minutes. Now we will substitute the values. CE is still the ladder, the length of the ladder. So it is still 30 into the cos 32 degree 24 minutes is not a standard angle. So you will find it from the trigonometrical tables, and we have the value as 0.8443. So when we multiply, we get the value of DE as 25.329 meter. Now what was the question? The question was to find the width of the road, and the width of the road is DB, and DB is equal to DE plus BE. So we will add both the values. So here we have the value of DB as 25.329 plus 16.074, which comes out to be 41.403 meter. You can leave the answer as it is, or you can round off correct to one decimal place. It doesn't make any difference, because in the question they have not asked you to round off correct to 1 or 2 or anything. So it's always better to give answer correct to one decimal place. So we have rounded off. Even you could have written 41 meter. Okay. So this is our answer. Both the answers are acceptable. Now the third question is, a man stands 9 meter away from a flagpole. So let's draw a flagpole and a man. The man I have taken is a soldier, and the flag is our national flag. He is saluting the national flag. A smile has come on our face. Now the next part of the question is, a man stands 9 meter away from the flagpole. So the horizontal line is 9 meter, and he observes that the angle of elevation of the top of the pole, that means from his eyes, he is looking at the top level, top of the pole. So the line of sight is from his eyes to the top of the pole, and here the angle of elevation is 32 degree, and from the top, from his eyes, he is looking at the bottom of the pole also, which will be taken as angle of depression. It is 13 degree. So let's first of all give some name to these figures. Let the height of the flagpole be AB, because the question is calculate the height of the flagpole. So let the height of the flagpole be AB. So we have to give the name as AB, and we have taken AB as H meter. So let's mark it as H. The next thing we will do is, let us assume let's give a name to that man also. Let the height of the man be CD, and we are taking it to be X meter. Now the next thing that is given in the question is, a man stands 9 meter away from the flagpole. So from here since BD is the bottom part of the flagpole and D is the foot of the man, so this 9 meter is actually BD. The length BD is actually 9 meter. Now, for the first thing, after all these values we are assuming, the first thing we will do is we will draw CE perpendicular to AB. There is a reason behind this, because I have to draw angle of elevation and angle of depression from the point C, because from C the man is looking at the top of the flagpole and from C the man is looking at the bottom of the flagpole. So there has to be a horizontal line. Therefore, we have made use of CE. But CE is not only helping in forming angle of elevation and angle of depression, it is helping us in some other sense also. And what is that? Now, when I drop a perpendicular, naturally that angle E, CEA and CEB becomes equal to 90 degree, and the flagpole is vertical to the base, the ground, so it is also 90, and the man is also standing vertically, that is also 90, and the fourth angle automatically becomes, fourth angle is C, it also becomes by the angle sum property rule, each angle of this quadrilateral, which quadrilateral? BDCE, becomes equal to 90 degree, so it has become a rectangle. Therefore, BD and CE becomes equal to 9 meter, opposite sides are equal. Similarly, I can mark CD and EB also to be equal to X meter, because it's a rectangle. Moreover, CE is parallel to BD because we have drawn perpendicular, and these two become 90 degree co-interior angles you can say, or corresponding angles you can say, they are formed. So CE is parallel to BD. Next, what we have is, you yourself see the complete length AB is H, and if BE is X, what about AE? AE is the remaining part of the complete flagpole, because BE is equal to CD and both are equal to X as we have marked. So AE is the remaining part of the flagpole, which is H minus X, because the complete length of the pole is H. So let's write all these things. Now we will first, after this, the next thing we will do is we will draw the angle of elevation, which will be taken as, because CA is the line of sight. So the angle is ACE, which is 28 degree. Let's draw this. Then we have the next angle of depression. From the top he is looking at the bottom. Then the line of sight is CB. CB is the line of sight, and the angle is ECB. It is 13 degree. Now we learnt it in our previous lecture that angle of depression is equal to angle of elevation, alternate angles. Yes, because EC is parallel to BD, so by using alternate angles rule, angle CBD becomes equal to angle ECB, and both are 13 degree each. So now I have with me two right triangles. As you can see, the first right triangle is CBD and the second right triangle is AEC, where I can see I am having a known side. If I talk about right triangle BCD, I am having a known side BD and an unknown side X, and angle also is with me, 13 degree. And when I come to right triangle AEC, I am having a known side which is CE and an unknown side which is H minus X, and angle is also there. We can easily apply T ratio. So let's start. First of all, we are taking triangle, right triangle BCD, and we know CD is X, BD is 9 meter, and angle CBD is 13. Which T ratio? We know the perpendicular is X and the base is 9. So which T ratio? Yes, it is tan 13. Tan 13 is equal to perpendicular upon base, so it is CD upon BD, and 13 is not a standard angle. So tan 13 will find with the help of trigonometrical tables, and will substitute all the values. So from the trigonometrical tables, for tan 13 I have 0.2309, and CD is X, BD is 9. We substitute the values. From here I get the value of X as 2.078981. Let's mark this as equation 1. Now we will take the next right triangle, that is AEC. In AEC, the angle is 28 degree, the base is 9 meter and perpendicular is h minus x. So which T ratio? Once again we will take tan. In right triangle we will take tan only, because AE is h minus x, EC is 9 meter and ACE we have already discussed how they are equal to all these values. So let us quickly take tan 28 to be equal to AE upon EC, a T ratio, and then from the trigonometrical tables and the values in our hand we will substitute all these things. Tan 28 becomes 0.5317, AE is h minus x and EC is 9. So from here I get the value of h minus x as 9 into 0.5317, which is 4.7853. Now from here I can work out h also, because minus x goes to the other side and becomes plus x, and x value I know, I will substitute over here from equation 1, and after adding I get the value of h as 6.8634 meter, or you can keep it as 6.86 meter. I have kept it till 2 decimal place. So this is my final answer. I have got the height of the flagpole, the complete height of the flagpole. Now the next question is question number 4. The angle of elevation of a stationary cloud from a point 25 meter above a lake is 30 meter. So in this question, after reading only the first line, I have understood that there is a lake in this question and the point of observation is a point which is 25 meter above the lake. So we have to place the observation point 25 meter above the lake, and what we are observing? We are observing a stationary cloud. So let's start with the question. Let the surface of the water be xy. So let's draw the water and name the surface. Let us assume it to be a straight line, horizontal line, xy. This is the surface of the water, and the point of observation is, we are marking as O, and the cloud as C, stationary cloud as C, and the observation point, and keep this in mind, they have written in the question, the observation point is 25 meter above the lake. So here we have the observation point which is 25 meter above the lake. Now from here we can mark the height of the cloud also, because finally the final statement is what is the height of the cloud above the lake level. The level is xy, so above, let us assume it to be h. Let the height of the cloud above the lake level be h. Now in this, if I read the second part of the question, of course there is angle of elevation and there is angle of depression also, but that angle of depression is from the point, the same point of observation O, but this time we are looking at its reflection. So here we have to use a little knowledge of physics, that the image is formed as far behind the mirror as the object is in front of it. So it's like a mirror only. The cloud is reflected inside the lake, and we know from our physics knowledge that the height of the cloud and the reflection will be equal. So let us take the reflected part to be h meter away from the level of water, the lake level of the water xy. Okay. Now let's start. To draw the angle of elevation, we need a horizontal line. We need a horizontal line to make the angle of elevation. So the first thing we will do is draw OE perpendicular to CB. But when I do this, I am actually creating a right rectangle. Okay. Now I have dropped a perpendicular, as you can see, OE is perpendicular to BC. BC is the height of the cloud above the lake level, and it is taken as h meter. So BC is the height of the cloud above the lake, and OE is perpendicular dropped on BC, and thereby I get a rectangle ABEO. So what from here what we understand, that EB is equal to OA is equal to 25 meter, because all these are right angles. Okay, OA is perpendicular, CB is also perpendicular, OE is also perpendicular, we have drawn perpendicular on BC, so it is a rectangle. That way it is a rectangle because each angle is a right angle. So thereby OA and BE or EB becomes equal to 25 meter, and see the whole length BC, the whole length is h, not length, height. The height of the cloud is h meters. So if 25 meter is removed, because BE is 25, what is the length of CE? CE will be h minus 25. Let's mark this also in our figure. Now let me mark the angle of the line of sight for the angle of depression also, because OC is the line of sight for angle of elevation and OD becomes the line of sight for the angle of depression. Let's mark the angles also. Let's see what all things are given to us. Angle of elevation COE is 30 degree. Let's mark 30 degree. And angle of depression from the observation point to the point of reflection. The point of reflection, C is reflected as D. C is reflected as D inside the water. So OD becomes the line of sight and the angle of depression is 60 degree, and that is DOE. So now you can see we are having two right triangles. The first is of course COE, where the angle is 30 degree and the known side is h minus 25. Similarly, in the second right triangle, as you can see, OD is the line of sight. So my right triangle is OED, in which DE is the perpendicular. DE is the perpendicular and it is a combination of h and 25. BD is the height of the reflection and BE is 25. We have assumed this originally when it was taken as a rectangle. So BDE or ED is equal to h plus 25. So let's take two right triangles one by one. Now in these two right triangles, one arm is common, that is OE. So in whichever T ratio we will make use of OE and the given part. So let's start. That means in right triangle COE, I am knowing the base and perpendicular. That means we have to use tan. So here we have tan 30 is CE upon OE. And as I told you, in both the right triangles, OE is the common part. So we'll work for OE. First of all, we'll substitute the values. Tan 30 is a standard angle. We'll substitute its known value. CE is h minus 25. OE is unknown. So we will frame an equation for OE. OE comes out to be root 3 into h minus 25 meter. Let's mark this as equation 1 and keep. Now we will take the next right triangle, in which the perpendicular is h plus 25 and the angle is 60 degree. Once again we are seeing OE is once again coming in this right triangle also. We discussed this before also, that OE is the common arm. So here we have the second right triangle and these values are known. So tan 60 comes out to be DE upon OE. We will substitute the values. Tan 60 is a standard angle, it's root 3, and DE is h plus 25 upon OE, and from here also we will work out OE. OE is h plus 25 upon root 3, and let us mark this as equation 2. Now when I compare both the equations, I come to the conclusion that both are equal, because equation 1 is also for OE, equation 2 is also for OE. That means these two values are equal. Now here we did not, if you look at equation 1 and equation 2, we have not substituted the value of root 3 as 1.732, because after equating you yourself will see that root 3 vanishes, because here what we are going to do, we are going to cross multiply and root 3 will move up, get multiplied with root 3 which is already there, and in the next step it becomes 3 into h minus 25 is equal to h plus 25. We will open the bracket. 3h minus 75 is equal to h plus 25. The next will be collecting all the variables on one side and constants on the other side. So I have 3h minus h, which is 2h, and that side I have 25 plus 75, which is 100. So from here I get the value of 2h as 100 and h comes out to be 50 meter. And I think this was only asked, find the height of the cloud above the lake level. So this is my final answer. I hope everyone has understood. So you have to move slowly. The diagram that you draw is most important, because after reading the question, if you draw wrong diagram, you will be calculating according to the diagram that you have drawn. If that diagram is wrong, then all the knowledge that you are having about the T ratio, about the standard angles, about using the values from the trigonometrical tables, all the knowledge will be a waste. Now next we have the fifth question. A vertical tower stands on a horizontal plane and is surmounted by a vertical flag staff of height h meter. So just reading the first sentence of this, let's try to make the beginning part of the question, that there is a tower on a horizontal plane and that tower is surmounted by a vertical flag staff. So let's draw the horizontal plane, and here we have the flag staff. Let us give some name. Let it be BC, and yes, the tower is perpendicular to the horizontal line. It's standing vertical, straight, and on the top of this tower we have a vertical flag staff. So here we have the vertical flag staff. Let us give some name to it. Let CD be the height of the tower, height of the flag staff, and BC be the height of the tower. Now the next thing they are saying is, at a point on the plane, the angle of elevation of the bottom of the flag staff is alpha. That means on the horizontal plane we will assume any point, anywhere we will place a point, and from that point we will observe the bottom of the flag staff and mark it as angle alpha, and from that point we will observe the top of the flag staff and mark it as beta. And what we have to prove, that the height of the tower is h tan alpha upon tan beta minus tan alpha. So let's start with the working part. First of all, let us assume the tower BC to be x meter. Let's mark it. And the height of the flag staff DC is given to you. They have given the value of it. It is h meter. Let's mark it as h meter. Now we have to place a point on the horizontal plane. Let the point be A. Now from this point, first I will observe the the bottom of the flag staff, and this is the line of sight. AC will be the line of sight, and the angle will be made with the horizontal plane. So, and that angle is alpha. So this, here we have angle alpha, angle BAC is angle alpha, and from that point A, we will observe the top of the flag staff, and the line of sight this time will be AD, and BAD will be your angle beta. Now by drawing this, we are having two right triangles, triangle ABC and triangle ABD. Of course, perpendicular in both the cases are known. If I will take triangle ABC, perpendicular is x, and if I take triangle ABD, perpendicular is h plus x, and the common part coming in both is AB. So whichever T ratio we use, we have to use perpendicular and base, and we have to frame for AB. We have to, whenever I will take one by one, I will take both the triangles, right triangles. In every case, I will frame the equation for AB. So let's start with the first right triangle, that is your ABC, where we have angle alpha and the height perpendicular as BC. So yes, tan alpha is BC upon AB, and BC we have taken as x. So here I will frame for AB, the common part. AB is x tan alpha, we will x upon tan alpha, we will mark this as equation 1 and keep. Now let's take the next right triangle ABD, and here the angle is beta. Angle beta is BD upon AB, and we know BD is made up of tower and flagstaff, so both the heights has to be added. So BD is BC plus DC, and it comes out to be tan beta is equal to H plus X upon AB. Now this also I'll frame for AB. AB is equal to H plus X upon tan beta. We have marked this as equation 2. Now when we compare both the equations, what we get? That these two are the values of AB. So we will equate them. Now here I have from equation 1 X upon tan alpha, and from equation 2 H plus X upon tan beta, and since both are equal to AB, so both are equal. So now what we have to do? We have to cross multiply. X into tan beta is equal to H plus X into tan alpha. Now next step is to open the bracket. Right hand side we have H tan alpha plus X tan alpha. Now the next thing, bringing all the variable part on one side. X variable is on the left hand as well as in the right hand side. We'll bring them together. So I have here X tan beta minus X tan alpha. That side I have X tan beta minus X tan alpha, and that side I have H tan alpha. Now in the left hand side X can be taken as common, and we have in the bracket X into tan beta minus tan alpha. That side I have H tan alpha. So finally I can frame for X. X is what? The height of the tower. So X comes out to be H tan alpha upon tan beta minus tan alpha. So this is what we were supposed to prove. We assumed the height of the tower to be X, and X becomes equal to what has been asked. This is what was asked. H height of the tower is equal to H tan alpha upon tan beta minus tan alpha. Now the next question is, the horizontal distance between two towers is 120 meter. So we have to make a horizontal plane and two towers standing on the horizontal plane, and separated by a distance of 120 meter. Let's give the some name to both the towers. Let the one of the towers be AB and the other tower be CD. We have named them. Now what is the next part of the question? The angle of elevation of the top and the angle of depression of the bottom of the first tower as observed from the second tower is 30 degree and 24 degree. So let us observe from the tower AB. So let us assume we are observing from point A. We are observing from point A the top of the other tower, that is C, and the bottom of the tower D. Okay. So yes, the distance between the two towers is 120. Now these two towers are perpendicular to the ground. So let's start with the solution. Let the height of the tower AB be X meter. Let's mark it. And the height of the second tower CD be H meter. Now to make angle of elevation and angle of depression, we have to draw a horizontal line. So the next thing I will do is draw AP perpendicular to CD. This is AP perpendicular to CD, but by drawing this we have achieved two goals. One is, now I can draw the line of sight AC and make the angle of elevation with AP, and then I can draw the angle of depression again using AP and the line of sight AD. So before that we can see we have a right triangle formed over here, because angle B is 90, angle D is 90, and by dropping perpendicular AP on CD we have angle P also as 90. So in this quadrilateral ABDP, three angles are 90 degrees. So the fourth automatically becomes 90 degree due to angle sum property rule. So ABDP is a rectangle in which opposite sides will be equal. So reading this, let's quickly mark AB to be equal to PD, both are X. If PD is X, what about CP? CP will be H minus X, because the complete length of the second tower we have taken as H. So if PD is X, The remaining part will be h minus x. Okay. Now we have written this, opposite sides are equal. We have marked it on the figure also. PAP is equal to BD, 120 meter each, and the angle of elevation. For that only we drew AP perpendicular to CD. So let's draw the angle of elevation. The line of sight is AC and it makes an angle of 30 degree with AP. So we have angle CAP as 30 degree, and then we have angle of depression again from point A, but now looking at the bottom of that tower CD. So the line of sight is AD and the angle formed is between AP and AD, which is angle DAP 24 degree. All these things are given in the question. Now what we have to do is we have to find the height of both the towers. That means I should find the value of x. X is the height of the tower AB, and I have to find the value of the second tower CD, which is h. So I have understood my motto. I have to find the value of x and I have to find the value of h, and you have to give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. Keep this thing in mind. Okay, because 1 mark will be deducted if your answer is incorrect. So now we will convert angle of depression into angle of elevation. We learned this because AP and BD are parallel to each other. So by alternate angle property, angle ADB is equal to angle DAP is equal to 24 degree. Let's mark it. Now I have a right triangle ABD and one more right triangle APC. I will apply T ratio in both the right triangles to find the value of x and h, height of the two towers. So in the first right triangle ABD, of course I will make use of T ratio tan, because perpendicular is x and base is 120. So tan 24, I will make use of tan 24. Tan 24 is AB upon BD, which is x upon 120, and tan 24 we will find from the trigonometrical table. So the value of x comes out to be 120 into 0.4452. When multiplied, I get 53.424. Now x is the height of the one of the towers, and the answer should be correct to 3 significant figures. So yes, you will take 3 significant figures. The fourth figure is less than 5, so nothing will be added to the third figure. So it will be 53.4 meter only. Originally it was 53.424. 6 significant figures were there, but they asked us to give answer correct to 3. So we should have in our answer only 3 significant figures, and rounded off also. After rounding off, it comes out to be 53.4 meter. Now let's switch over to the second right triangle, and that is your ACP or APC, in which height is h minus x and the base is 120 and angle is 30. Once again we will make use of tan 30 only, which is CP upon AP. Tan 30 is a standard angle. We will use the known value. CP is h minus x upon 120. Here we cross multiply. H minus x becomes equal to 120 upon root 3. Now some students may think 120 has to be divided by 1.732. Children, always remember, we try to avoid division of a whole number by a decimal number. So we always try to avoid. So here also we can apply a trick. We can rationalize the denominator. See how I am rationalizing. Left hand side I have h minus x, let it be as it is. Right hand side I have 120 upon root 3. So how I will rationalize? I will multiply numerator as well as denominator by root 3. By doing this, in the denominator I am having 3, but the numerator changes and it becomes 120 root 3. Now you can see 120 and 3 are multiple of each other, they can be cancelled, and h minus x finally comes out to be 40 root 3. So earlier we were dividing 120 by a decimal if I would have substituted the value of root 3. Now what I am doing after rationalizing what I have got, and now I have to multiply a whole number by a decimal. Multiplication is always acceptable, by a whole number by a decimal number, and division part we try to avoid, a whole number by a decimal number. So let's substitute the value 40 into 1.732, and x also I will substitute from equation 1. I have substituted the value. Original value I will substitute because I have to round off this also. So h is equal to 69.28 plus 53.424. So here I get the answer as 122.704. This answer also should be correct to 3 significant figures, and the 3 is only 122. But we will look at the fourth figure. Fourth figure is more than 5. So we will add 1 to the last digit 2. So it becomes 123 meter. So this is correct to 3 significant figures. So here we come to the end of this question. Now we have this as the last question for today's session. As observed from the top of a 80-meter tall lighthouse. There is a lighthouse, means we are near the sea. Sea is there and there is a lighthouse, and the person who is observing something, he is at a height of 80 meter. He is sitting at a height of 80 meter. Okay, as observed from the top of a 80-meter tall lighthouse. So the person who is sitting, he is from the ground level, he is 80 meter above. The angle of depression of two ships on the same side of the lighthouse in the horizontal line. The horizontal line will be the sea water, and there are two ships on the sea and both are on the same side. Sometimes the question comes, they are on the opposite side. Then the lighthouse should be in between, one ship this side, one ship the other side. But since they have said they are on the same side, so we have to keep this point in mind. And the angles are given as 30 degree and 40 degree. So let's quickly draw a lighthouse with two ships and the sea water. Everything is ready. We have a lighthouse standing, the horizontal surface of the sea water, and the two ships on the same side of the lighthouse, and two lines of sight also I have made. These are the from the top of the lighthouse. As you can see, two lines are coming out. These are the line of sight and they are observing the two ships. Okay, so let's give them some name. Now what is the question? You have to find the distance between the two ships and your answer should be correct to nearest meter. Okay, so let's give some name. Let the height of the lighthouse be PQ. So we are naming the lighthouse as PQ and its height is 80 meter. So we have marked in the figure, PQ is the height of the tower and its height is 80 meter. Next, to make the angle of depressions, because we are looking from above to the ground, to above from the top of the lighthouse, we are looking at the ground level. Here the ground level is the surface of sea water. We are observing the ships. Okay, so we have to draw a horizontal line, a parallel line to the surface of water. Let us mark this as RQ, and RQ is parallel to AP. AP we have not marked. Then what is A? A and B are the two positions of the ships. Okay, so A is the first ship, B is the second ship, and AP is the surface of water, horizontal surface of water, and RQ is the line that we have drawn ourselves for making the angle of depression. Here we will assume the surface of water is calm, it is straight line, we will assume. Okay, so that we can create a right angle triangle. So let's draw angle of depression. The first angle of depression, angle RQA, it is 30 degree. RQA is 30 degree and the second angle of depression is RQB, which is 40 degree. Can you see? Now these two angles will be taken as angle of elevation, because we learned this in our previous lecture. We learned because RQ is parallel to AP, therefore by using alternate angle property, we can take angle RQA to be equal to PAQ, both to be 30 degree. I have marked 30 degree. Similarly, the second angle 40 can also be taken down as angle of elevation, and we have marked here that angle RQB is equal to angle PBQ. Now in the figure you can see I have marked 50 degree also. Why 50 degree? I'll tell you in the later part of the question when I will solve this, because 40 is there. Of course I should make use of a T ratio with 40, but 40 will give me more of a calculation. I said to you earlier that we try to avoid division of a whole number by a decimal. If I take tan 40 and I am working for BP, because what is my final aim? To find the distance between the two ships. So when I use triangle APQ, I will find AP, and when I will use triangle BPQ, I will find BP. So if I go for tan, because perpendicular is known, PQ is 80 and base is what I have to find. So naturally I will be using tan 40. If I use tan 40, tan 40 is not a standard angle. So of course tan 40 will be a decimal number. A decimal number equal to 80 upon BP, and when I will work for BP, it will be 80 divided by a 4-figure decimal number, and I told you earlier also we try to avoid. Therefore when I will use triangle BPQ, I will not make use of 40, I will make use of 50. So this is a new type of question where you have learned then that in a right angle triangle, if whatever angle is given, you need not use this. By using angle sum property, you can find the third angle, which is of course complement of the acute angle given. It is 50 degree, and you can make use of 50 degree also. So when I will solve, you can see how I have used 50 degree. So first of all, I am taking triangle APQ. APQ, the height perpendicular is known 80 meter. AP is the base. So yes, I will use the T ratio tan 30 is equal to PQ upon AB. Tan 30 is a standard angle. So I will use a known value. I will not make use of a standard angle. So I will not make use of the trigonometrical table. So 1 upon root 3 becomes equal to 80 upon AP. So from here we get the value of AP as 80 root 3, which is AP is equal to 80 into 1.732, and this is 138.56 meter. Keep it as it is. The final answer will be rounded off correct to nearest meter. Don't round off now. Okay. Now let's take the second triangle. In the second triangle, I told you we will not take 40. We will find the other angle, which is 50. I gave you the reason by angle sum property rule. Now we will apply tan 50. Tan 50 is not a standard angle. We will make use of the trigonometrical table. Tan 50 is equal to BP upon 50 PQ. BP has become big. When I use tan 50, your base has become the height of the lighthouse, and perpendicular is the length of the sea water. Okay, so it is BP upon PQ. So when I substitute the value, it is 1.1918. This value I have found from the trigonometrical table, and BP upon 80. So here I need not multiply. What I said for tan 40, there we were dividing a whole number by a decimal number. Here we are multiplying a whole number by a decimal number. Multiplication are acceptable. Division of a whole number by a decimal we try to avoid. Okay, so BP comes out to be, after multiplying, 95.344, and we have to find the distance between the two ships. So AP minus BP will give me AB. Okay, according to the figure, the distance between the two ships is AB. So how we will get AB? AP minus BP. AP's value I have just now found out. BP also here we have in front of us. We will subtract both the values. We will not round off these two answers. The final answer has to be rounded off correct to nearest meter. Okay. So AB comes out to be, after subtraction, 43.216. So it has to be rounded off correct to nearest meter. That means decimal part has to be removed. And we will check the first decimal number. The first number in the decimal place, it is 2. So nothing will be added to the last digit, which is coming in the ones place. So it will remain 43 only. So 43 meter is my answer, which is correct to nearest meter. With this, I come to the end of the session. Thank you everyone, and keep smiling, and God bless you. And don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel, and please press the bell icon for the latest updates.